started. Thank you for coming. I'm Carlos Navarro. I'm founder and president of FastOD. And there are a couple of reasons why we're here today. I mean, this meeting serves two purposes. One is to announce the launch of FastOD.com, which went live late this afternoon. So if you're trying to find it, you didn't see it, but it's available now. But also to announce our first New York optometry meetup. These things actually work in together, the online component along with the meetups, which we'll be repeating in other locations. So this is the first of quarterly New York City optometry meetups. So everybody here who's part of our meetup group, and if you are, you've signed up, we'd love to see you again when we come back in January. All right. So with that said, and I do want to point out and give a shout out to all of our SUNY optometry students here for really representing tonight. I appreciate that. Hopefully you'll find this to be helpful for you as well. So let's get started. This is the agenda for tonight. We're going to start first and give you an overview of FastOD.com. Talk about the optometry meetup, and again explain how these things come together and work together as part of our business model. We're then going to get into the actual meetup component with a spotlight on marketing. The 4 mistakes to please, and we even said please, avoid when marketing your practice. Myself and Dr. Gerber and Dr. Bazan will be presenting that. We'll then get into our quick tip of the week, and we're going to be talking about branding and logo design. And then we'll have a working session with some Q&A, and then we're going to do some polling at the end, something I think you'll have a little fun with. All right, sound fair enough? Yeah. Okay. Okay, so let's get started. So why FastOD and what is FastOD? So I've had a chance to speak to some of you. My background, I've spent most of my corporate life, I'm an entrepreneur now, but I've spent most of my corporate life marketing to optometrists. Okay, with on a couple of different brands, AccuView brand, something you're probably familiar with, and Renew Contact Lens Solutions with Bausch & Lomb. So spent a lot of time talking to doctors, researching doctors, and once you get past the products, talking about the products, there was always a common pain point. I like to think of this as a universal truth, at least in the United States, and it's that doctors go to school to become clinicians, but the profession requires them to be really good business people too. But that's not taught in optometry school. All right. I see some heads nodding. Again, I usually get that when I speak to a group of individuals. But that's the universal truth that kind of launched FastOD. And that gives us a very specific mission. It's to help doctors become stronger business people. And again, we're specific to optometry. So we're very focused on what we do. Now, when you interact with FastOD, and definitely at these workshops, these meetups, you're going to take away tangible business tips and advice that you can learn today and put to work tomorrow. We're not going to be providing strategies necessarily or 30,000-foot concepts. It's tangible, actionable things that you can take and put into building a practice. Some things that make us different. There's a lot of different places you can go to get business information and optometry information. But we're focused on a very specific mission of business knowledge, providing cutting-edge insights from in and outside of the optometry, unscripted and live. So the content that you get from us, definitely in these live meetups, but also online during some of our live events, are unscripted live events where you'll be able to interact, ask questions. Okay, and I think that's something that's unique. Also, when you look at the information we're looking to provide, we're not just benchmarking successful optometric practices, but that's definitely part of it. We're looking at the business world in total. What are the best practices, and can they be applied to the optometry setting? All right. Combination of online and in-person. We talked about that. The meetups with the online content. And based on the way we're positioning our business and how we're going to market, we found that based on research, we're likely to appeal to doctors in the earlier stages of their career. And so when I say that, optometry students, through people who are still building their practice. And when I say building their practice, it's not just private practice, it's also retail, or if you go into industry. We want to provide you with useful business tools that you can use to be successful. So that's a little bit about us, why we think we're unique. Now again, there are a lot of places that you can go to get information, okay? But it's good to know who you are, but also who you aren't. Who we're not a news portal, okay? That's not what we do. There are some great publications out there, and we have representatives here from Jobson's, for example, who do a great job at that. That's not what we do. They do that. We're not about clinical insights and clinical pearls. Again, that's not where the need gap is in the marketplace. We're about business. Also, when you look at how we're aggregating our content, the type of content we're bringing to the marketplace, it's designed to meet the needs of a changing OD demographic. Now, this has been the demographics of ODs graduating has changed a lot over the last 10 years. Okay, more female than male. I think it's somewhere over 60% nationally. The last graduating class were female. It's very different from 20 years ago. All right, more ethnically diverse. And because of those things, career goals may be very different today for the younger OD than they were 15, 20 years ago. So we want to be sensitive to that, and we're going to bring content that appeals to this, this ever-changing demographic. And as I pointed out before, private practice or retail, or one thing I failed to cite there is industry. We don't care which channel you're working in. We're going to provide information that you'll find to be useful. Okay, so I mentioned the online content being complemented by in-person meetups. So our website, which went live this afternoon, that you'll know on the right is simply our meetup microsite for this session. These work together. You consume the information online. We'll discuss it in the in-person meetups. New York, which is right now. And again, we'll be repeating this meetup in January. Philadelphia and San Francisco in the Bay Area. And that'll be done by January. We'll be rolling out. In phase 2, you can see the additional markets that we'll be bringing online. And this will repeat on a quarterly basis. All right. So you can see how these, any questions? Everybody see how these work together? And it's kind of brick and mortar and online as well. Brick and click. Yes, sir.
When you say rollout, is this not national right now? Or
no, it's not now. Well, the website obviously is.
Yeah.
It's everywhere. But the meetups, we'll be rolling those out. Today, we're launching today. So this will be a phased rollout. Okay. So as far as content goes, what's the content? And we told you what we're not going to do. This is what we are going to do. Marketing and social media. A lot of interest around marketing and social media based on the research that we've done. Not surprising. Profitability and revenue growth. So we're going to get into some finance and accounting there. Nothing too crazy, but just things to make people feel more comfortable about finance and accounting. Management and professional development. A lot of peer-to-peer interviews on how I did it. Okay? Or things I wish I would have known when I graduated from optometry school, from seasoned veterans. And then lastly, we have what we call a wildcard bucket, and this is going to be subscriber-requested content. So in an ever-changing world, especially in optometry and healthcare services overall, things are changing pretty quickly. So if there's a new topic of interest, we'll seek out. Hey, I heard this new company launched this electronic health record system, and it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. We'll look to get that subject matter expert on board and provide some information for you. So those are the four buckets of content. And by the way, when you go on our website, the information will be categorized by major bucket as well. So validate the opportunity. We're pretty excited about this. I hope that you are. We conducted a lot of research before deciding to go down the path, and we did a lot more than this, but one of the key terms you're looking for, key metrics when you're launching a new service is uniqueness of service, okay, uniqueness of the concept. And one thing we're happy about is 91% of those doctors we spoke to at the AAO meeting last year said, yeah, this is a unique service for optometrists. So I think this is a function of how we're being very focused, very specific as to the service we're bringing and the audience that we're serving. All right, so we feel good about that. So another thing we feel really good about is our editorial team, and seeing Gary's face pop up there already, and we love having Gary on board. I mean, he has such incredible experience with industry as well as being a successful private practitioner, and then obviously with as president of the Power Practice, he brings a wealth of information and knowledge for us. Dr. Justin Bazan, which I think most people know here, has a very successful practice in Brooklyn, and a real social media expert, and so we tap into him for that. Dr. Jennifer Stewart, she's I think she's about 4 or 5 years out of optometry school now. She's already, she's a partner in a practice. She's done some really interesting work about sports vision. She's a triathlete, and it's interesting the way she's taken that passion and that hobby to really help build a practice. And so she has some very interesting perspectives. Myself, I bored you with my details. And we have that handsome young man in the back is our videographer, Ryan Osborne. Let's hear for Ryan.
Thank you.
Okay, and then we do have some advisors. We have Dr. Levy here, who I knew very well when he was Chief Medical Officer at Bausch & Lomb. And he's a startup veteran, so he's the type of person to advise us. Aaron Price, who's across the river here in New Jersey. Entrepreneur at large at DFJ Gotham Ventures, himself a founder of Craftermania. And also, he's the founder of the New Jersey Tech Meetup. New Jersey Tech Meetup has well over 1,000 members. It's one of the largest meetup groups in the country. He's really a model when it comes to meetup development and growing the meetups. The last person here, Adriana Allegrini, he's Vice President of Strategy and Business Development at DeVry. You know DeVry, you hear commercials from DeVry. It's all about training and education. And so he has some really good advice on how to bring information to an audience in a much more captivating way.